am on this earth, being persecuted, going through the fire.
Welcome back to Lamp Oil Stock, an Israelite channel where we bring an Israelite perspective to different questions. And we're continuing our Red Letter Bible series. This is part 4. I believe, this is part 4. This is our next part. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Our next part. It'll say it on the title, whatever it is. This is our next part. So what are we looking at today?
Okay, so we're going to do Matthew 5, and of course, the whole damn thing practically is red letter, but...
Wow. Really? Okay.
We're going to do Matthew 5, verses 3 through 11 in this one.
Okay, 3 through 11. All right.
Right.
Are you going to read it?
I guess. So,
Okay.
Matthew 5, verse 3. Well, are we going to talk about them as we read them? Read one, talk about it, or read the whole thing and then go back and talk about it?
Okay, read the whole thing so that we know what's going on.
Fine. Okay. Matthew 5, verse 3. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Verse 4. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Verse 5. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Can you say verse 6?
Verse 6.
Thank you. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled.
Verse 7.
Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy.
Verse 8.
Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God.
Verse 9.
Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God.
Verse 10.
Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
And verse 11.
Blessed are ye when men shall revile you, and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely, for my sake.
Okay, so this is the beginning of this set of this sermon that he's given. And he starts off with the blessed. It's a huge list. But let's break it down. So let's start off with the first one. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for their kingdom, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
Okay, right.
Okay, so let's kind of break them down, and we'll look at it.
So, blessed are the poor in spirit. When I read this, I think of two things. One, people who have been fighting a good fight,
Right?
and yet are tired
Uh-huh.
because they're fighting against evil and dealing with temptations or whatever. They're tired. So I think of those when I think of the poor in spirit. But I also think of those who have realized that there's something wrong with what they're doing.
Right.
And what they're going through, and they are blessed because if you realize that there's something wrong, then you can then turn your life over to the Most High, repent, and get on the right track.
Right.
So I look at it two ways. Those who have been fighting the good fight, because theirs is the kingdom of heaven, and those who realize that they haven't been fighting the good fight and are now going to take steps in order to start fighting it.
Exactly. Right. So a lot of verses that we see have double meanings, extra meanings, I guess is the way to say it. It's one of the things we talk about on a regular basis. As you read it, you'll start to see it more facets.
Right, because, life gives you wisdom, and as you are journeying through life and you encounter things, you get better understandings.
Right.
And so you might read it one time when you're young and not get much from it, any particular verse, but then as you've lived through life a little bit and gained some wisdom and knowledge, you look at it and like, oh wow, is this what this means?
Oh, this means something completely different. Okay, so let's look at the next one. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted.
Okay, and this one I see kind of in a double way too, and there may be more. And if you all know other ways to look at these verses, please share it with us. But I look at it as those who have lost someone they care about. Of course, you mourn over that, and of course, um, the Most High will comfort you during that time.
Mm-hmm.
But I also look at it as those who realize how evil they used to be and they mourn or they feel bad over the things that they have done.
I kind of agree with you, but
Okay.
I also think this is those who look out at the world and see how evil it is
Right.
and mourn for what's happened.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just another meaning. I see the ones you're saying, but I also see it as that. As a believer, sometimes you can look out at the world and just see how evil every how we have destroyed this, not only the planet but just individual relationships and everything. And I see what you're saying on that personal level, but I also see it on that larger level as well.
Okay. And in all cases, they
True.
shall be comforted.
This is true. This is true. I'm with you.
Verse 5, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth.
I was reading. I was doing good on those.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Go
no,
ahead.
no, no, no,
You
no,
read,
no,
you
no,
read.
no, 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 no.
Everybody ignore what I just read.
No, no. I'm horrible at reading, but I've been practicing. I was so ready for these. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth.
Okay.
Okay, so, but see, if I read, then you get to explain.
Oh,
But
okay.
so let's talk about the meek.
Okay.
All right. We are talking about humble. This is how I see this. See who the meek are.
Okay.
These are humble people. We're not saying someone isn't a strong person or a strong personality,
Right.
but they are. It's not vanity.
Right.
They are humble unto themselves.
They're willing to submit.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm a strong-willed type person.
I would never have guessed. Never.
But if I'm doing something that someone is to say, well, this is wrong. The Bible says this, and you can prove it, because you won't have to prove that shit to me. But if you can prove it, then I will humble myself down and I will stop doing what I'm doing, because I'm willing to submit to the Most High, no matter what. So, a lot of people, they see that, well, they're doing something, they've been doing it their whole lives, and they're just going to keep doing it. These people are not meek. They're not willing to submit. But if you're willing to submit to the Most High, then you are going to inherit the earth.
Exactly. All right, next. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be fulfilled.
They shall be filled.
No, I'm sorry. They shall be filled. My fault. I apologize. They shall be filled. See that?
Okay, so since I corrected you, you get to explain
wow.
it.
Wow. Okay, so now this one actually reminds me of a verse in another place in the Old Testament. Seek and you shall find. I believe this is a psalm.
Okay, right,
Do you
right.
see what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay, so a person who is hungry and is thirsting after righteousness, actually trying to seek the Most High and find what he is saying, what he is talking about, and what his purpose is for their life, will be filled. It will come to them.
Right. I agree with you. A lot of people want answers to this or that because of situational issues going on in their life, but they don't really want to take the time and or invest their energy in actually going to the Most High and waiting and looking and searching for what it is that he wants. And so this is what this is talking about. That he's those people who are really willing to sit down and listen to a to a 30-minute broadcast of someone going over something and then actually picking up their Bible and looking it up. Those people are hungry and they're thirsty after what the Most High has for them.
Exactly.
And he's going to fill those people up. He's going to give them what they're looking for.
You know, unfortunately, we live at a time where people's attention span is about 6 seconds.
Right.
And they have a problem, whatever it may happen to be, and all they want is an answer. I just want an answer. Okay, just tell me this quick answer so I can just do this and that's it.
Yeah, and then they get an attitude if you don't have just a simple one-word answer. So, yeah.
Right. When, as a believer, one of the things you've got to remember is it takes time. And you've got to invest time in whatever it is. Whatever the problem is or whatever you have going on, you have to invest yourself in it. Whatever you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. I think that's the saying. Whatever you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. And if you are honestly seeking, or as this verse says, hungry and thirsting after righteousness, that's when you'll find it.
All right.
Okay. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Oh, this is hard. It's hard. For me, this one, as I read over this verse, and I know it's not, thou shalt be merciful. I mean, I understand it is not a law, but this is difficult for me to forgive. It is difficult for me not to go, you were wrong, or something to that effect.
Or to exact payment when you are due something,
right.
To show mercy and say, okay, well, I'm going to let you off on this one.
Yep.
A lot of people want forgiveness. They want a little mercy. But when it comes to their own selves, they're really not very good at showing it. Oh, you hit me, so I get to hit you back.
Right. Right. And that's a thing. The echo in our lives, I guess is how I want to say it. We want mercy for the sins that we've done from the Father, but that mercy needs to extend through us to other people.
Right, and so it's a big issue for a lot of people. If you borrow $5 from me, I'm hounding you about the $5
yeah.
that you owe me, but I'll owe somebody
what are you talking
else.
about? I want 6 with some interest. I want some interest in there, and I'm telling you, we're gonna write up a bill. How we gonna pay me?
But then you expect everybody else to just have your money ready when you want it. So we have to give mercy in order to receive mercy.
Exactly. Okay, so next, number 8. Mm-hmm. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God.
Right, pure in heart. To me, this means that blessed are the people who do what it is that the Most High is asking them to do without caring about receiving something as a reward in return. It's like, I hate when you go somewhere and someone decides that they're going to pray and they give you a 30-minute prayer when I'm like, I just want to eat. But they do that because they're trying to show off and get, look at how good they pray and whatever. So they're doing what's required, but for some sort of reward or compensation for doing it. They have ulterior motives. You have some pastors, they get up and preach, and they're preaching because they want the respect of the communities they live in, or they want the money that is received through tithing or whatever reason, So it's when you're coming to the Most High without some sort of ulterior motive. That's the pure in heart.
Yeah, not trying to get that spiritual candy. Now, see, I believe it's Proverbs, again, I want to say somewhere in Proverbs, I could be wrong about where this is because I don't have it right in front of me, where it talks about people who fast.
Right.
And it says, if you fast, don't wear sackcloth and throw ash on your head and wander around so that everybody knows you're fasting, because then you have your reward.
Right. Right.
You know, you got what you wanted was everybody to know that's what you're doing. And that's what, you know, I think this is, you know, explaining a point through opposites. You know, just like you were saying, you know, by saying the pure at heart will see God, it's the opposite of those people who are doing things for an alternative motive.
Right. Okay. So, verse 10.
Blessed are the peacemakers.
Stop it.
Why?
Because you keep reading, so I have to explain. I'm going to read.
Okay, all right.
Verse 10. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake.
No, wait. You got to go back one, because we didn't do the peacemakers.
Oh, verse 9. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God.
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay. So let's. I know why you did this to me. So let's talk about this one. Let's get into this. So who are peacemakers? All right. Are we talking about people who just end wars?
Right.
Okay. Well, yes, but also it's more than that.
Oh. Okay.
It's more than that. It's not people who just end fights.
Okay.
I mean, granted, this is a benefit, yes, but it is also a person who makes peace in themselves. If you think about it, if you think about this peacemaker, they are bringing not only they're bringing an end to strife, but if you think about your own heart, you know, when you first came into the truth, right? Confusion is everywhere, and I know somewhere it talks about how Satan is the author of confusion. All right, and a peacemaker is that person who is ending not only a fight is just a massive confusion. I mean, that's what it is. A peacemaker is the person who brings the end to that. All right, who spreads the truth and is calm and is bringing an end to strife.
So they're reconciling people to the Most High. They're trying to get people to understand the love of the Most High so that they come back to Him.
Exactly. Now, that also extends to relationships, which is why I know you wanted to give this to me. We'll get into arguments. We'll get into arguments, and as I said with that previous one about mercy, we'll get into arguments, and you are a very strong-willed person, but so am I, and I can get into some huge arguments with you.
Right, you're a big hothead. Go ahead and say it.
You are right, dear. I completely understand that. But one of the things that Christ is bringing up here is peace in the body. All right. I mean, as we are all believers, we should have a peaceable connection between all of us. That is part of the point. Your left arm does not fight with your right arm, or at least not on a regular basis. That is not what happens. You know, and we should be able to expand that peace, that love that he is talking about to us as believers.
Right. So what you're trying to say is, like, when we get into an argument and you just go off at the handle and you keep saying all these mean, hurtful, and nasty things, and I calm down and I try to get us to reconcile and end the fight while you're rambling on about, you know, all those mean, nasty, and hurtful things.
No, we did not fight just recently. But I am asking for peace and a little bit of.
Bring us back together.
Can we get a little bit of peace and mercy in there somewhere? Can we make this happen? Can we make this happen? But yeah, I mean that is literally, if you think about it, in the world today, confusion, strife is a huge component of everything that is going on.
Well, if you look, you see a lot of people who get into big fights and arguments, road rage.
Right.
People aren't thinking about the love of the Most High. Something happens, someone cuts them off, and they go straight to wrath, rage, or anger instead of calming it down and saying, they made a mistake. I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to argue over this. I'm going to try to reconcile it, even if it's not my fault. I'm going to try to reconcile the difference that we're having. You don't see a lot of that today. You see people wanting to fight to the death over little things.
You mean Twitter? It's just Twitter. There's a reason why I don't have it,
Twitter. Who was it? Popeye's chicken sandwich? Who was it?
Oh man, fighting in a line to get food.
No,
to get a sandwich. There was
it
years.
Popeyes?
Okay, that was a few years ago. You don't
Okay.
watch ads, I know, but in the line for Popeye's chicken, they didn't have enough, and they just broke out in a big fight, and all kinds of craziness takes place. And I'm with you. If we believers don't need to be involved in this stuff, we don't need to be involved in this stuff. We should be, as it says, peacemakers, right? And if you can't bring peace to this, sometimes you don't need to even be there.
Right. If you can't say something good, don't say anything at all. So
I don't know if that's how that verse works. I mean,
it does right now. I just said it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I got it. I understand what you're saying.
Verse 10.
Okay. Do you want to read it, or do you want me to?
I'll read it. I like
I was going to go. I was going to
Verse 10. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
Okay. So, this is a big one.
It is?
Yeah, this is a big one.
Okay.
So, if you watched or listened to the video that we did when we were talking about our own story.
Right. How we got here.
Yeah, how we got here.
Shameless plug. Go ahead.
It's a great video. Check it out. Anyway, so in that one, we talk about this particular line where when we became believers and we let go of, say, just using a different example, we let go of the holidays, the holidays in favor of holy days. The persecution that started off, when you tell your family, I'm not coming for Christmas because I don't believe in it anymore, and they give you up one side and down the other,
right,
about how can you, why are you not doing it? We're just celebrating this. It's all great. That persecution, I mean, that's honestly light. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's very difficult at the time.
right,
But it's very light to what it says later on in the Bible.
right.
When we get into Revelations and we're talking about they're going to cut your head off if you say you believe, that's far more difficult. But at this point, at this point, once you become a believer and you start to change who you are, your friends that
And family.
were hanging with you and were good the way you were are going to be very upset with what you start turning into.
Right. And it says, blessed are they which are persecuted. So I don't want you to forget that. Going through this persecution is a good thing. Mm-hmm. You're going to be blessed because of it. I mean, it's, it doesn't feel good as you're going through it. You might have to cry, scream, holler, and, destroy a few things. But this is to make you stronger and to turn you into the person the Most High needs you to be. So it is a good thing.
I also think this is a yardstick. Okay? Let me put it this way. Let's say that you say you're a believer.
Right.
And the whole world celebrates you. I'll give you an example. Mm-hmm. Say, what's his name? Kanye West. Kanye West comes out and goes, I'm a believer. And the whole world celebrates you. Something's wrong. I'm just saying, something's wrong. Because in all reality, once you honestly change and you start doing things differently and seeing the world a different way, the world does not like it.
Right. They're not going to celebrate you.
Exactly.
Okay, so verse 11, the final verse is, Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. I think what is important in this one is that it is when they say all manner of evil against you falsely, right?
Right.
Because there's a lot of people who are reviled and persecuted.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, because if you look at Kanye West as another example, you know, he goes through his issues where one minute people are loving him, and the next minute they're trying to lock him into some insane asylum. So it's not just that people don't like you. You have some people who are just nasty.
Haters gonna hate.
Right. They are just
Haters gonna hate. That's just what happens.
nasty and filled with hate, and they feel like they're doing something good
Right.
because people don't like them.
Right.
Well, no. No, you're
Yeah.
just nasty and filled with hate. So,
Yeah, but this is reviled and persecuted, and say all manner of evil against you falsely.
right.
Now, and I'm with you with that one. The example I want to give for this one is our kids. When we told people that, we're believers and we're no longer eating pork.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things we ran into was we let our kids go with family members, and they would say, "Oh, well, we're making green beans or something," and they would put pork in it, and you'd say, "Well, we don't eat pork."
Yeah,
And
they
they
talk
would-
bad about us.
They would say to the kids, "Well, it's good for you anyway."
Yeah, tell them we were crazy, that we didn't know what we were talking about, that they shouldn't listen to us.
Listen, my favorite story. This is my favorite story of all time. This did not happen to us. This was a lady that I had heard of. We met in a grocery store, something to that effect. So let me tell you this story. This is great. I love it. And I know you know it, but just bear with me for a minute. Okay, so there's a lady who became a believer, much like us, and stopped eating pork, right? And she would, every weekend, she would stay with her mother. Okay? She'd stay with her mother. So her mother in the morning would get up and make her breakfast, right? And we're talking eggs and bacon and the whole bit. So she'd given up
Pork bacon.
yeah, pork bacon. So she'd given up pork bacon. So we saw her in the store, and she's buying eggs and turkey bacon, right? She's buying eggs and turkey bacon. And we end up talking to her, and this is how we get to the story. So what had happened a little bit previous was her mother, trying to be nice and not give her pork bacon, would fry her eggs in pork fat.
Her eggs and her bacon in pork fat.
Because she thought it would taste better. Which is, I mean, what? I love it. I mean, it's great because, as we said, because she thought, and this was her words, you just don't know what you're talking about. This is so much better.
Yeah. So this is back to what this is talking about is, people don't like or say bad things about people for this reason or that reason all the time. So it's not just if you're having bad things said about you, but it's if you're having people persecute you and say stuff, evil things against you falsely.
Right.
Because you're trying to live a righteous life.
Exactly.
Then you are going to be blessed.
Right, and that's the thing. I mean, hopefully I'm giving the examples I'm trying to give are ones where a person. I've been doing dietary ones, but the holidays. There's all types of things like I don't work on the Sabbath.
Right.
I don't work on the Sabbath, and I used to be in the military. And that's all they wanted was I was in the, doesn't matter, but they wanted me to work on the weekends, to be in on the weekends. And when I said I'm leaving the military, I'm not doing this anymore. And I didn't have my 20 years in, and response when I said I was leaving was, "Oh, well, why? Why are you leaving?" Well, I've become an Israelite. I understand who I am now, and I really cannot. I can't serve on the weekends. I can't do that. This is not a thing that I can do any longer. And their response was, "Well, it doesn't matter. You're not really serving. You're only doing it, once a month. It's not really that bad. No, you're completely missing the point. Oh, well, you're going to miss out on your 20 years and your retirement and all these other things. No, it's not the point. Well, you're just weak. You just don't want to do it." People don't understand, and they want to come up with any reason that they can think of to get you to think like they do.
Right. They can't understand someone having a love and a desire for the Most High, and so they come up with their own ideas of why someone might do that. They want to say you're crazy or whatever, because I know you were like, what, 4 years from retirement?
Yeah.
And we realized that you can't serve two masters.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all right. Hey, listen, they wanted to offer you that money, and I was like, "No, can't do that." "Oh, well, we do." "No, I don't. Nothing matters except for I believe in the Most High, and I just don't want to deal with this any longer."
So, when you look at these 11, well, it's not even 11 verses, but when you look at these verses, it is really a time for you to stop and look inward and see if these things apply to your life.
Right.
Because you're starting anew, right? You're supposed to die to your old self, who you were, and start over as a child again. Start over with a new thought, a new heart, a new ideas. And if you are not what these things say are blessed, then you need to evaluate and start working on that and praying and asking God to work on that,
right,
to change you so that you can say that you are the meek. You are the one that hunger and thirst after righteousness. You have a pure heart. You are merciful. You want to keep peace. You are being persecuted because you're living righteously. These are the things you want to see in you, because you are what's important. You can't help someone else until you help yourself first.
Exactly.
And that's all I got.
Well, thank you all so very much for joining us here at Lamp Stock. And if you think about it and you want to leave a comment, that would be great, or maybe a like,
or a dislike,
or any of those type of things. Thank you once again.
And subscribe.
Oh, yes. We should. I'm going to do that next time at the very beginning.
No, I just said it. Subscribe.
I know, but I'm going to do it next time. I'm going to say that at the very beginning.
Okay.
But thank you all so very much for spending a little bit of time with us. And do you have anything else?
Kwame Asherala.
Bye.